Dear students, in my last video, I discussed about how you can make your presentation effective by organizing your contents. And we started with the very first part, that is introduction. As I already told, that any presentation can be clubbed into three main parts to have an organized content. And the three main parts could be introduction, main body, and conclusion. In this video, we will discuss how we can make our main body organized, structured, and sequenced as per the content or as per our topic, so that the audience or the listeners or the people who are listening to us can have better understanding of the delivery. So, starting with the main body, the discussion or the text part follows the introduction and supports the aim or the specific purpose. As I have already discussed, that in our introduction, we talk about the topic, followed by what is my purpose or the motive or the main aim behind the topic, and how we will further progress, discussing about the roadmap or how we will progress in terms of what next or in terms of a bullet list in our introduction. Then, in our main body, we discuss the details or the supporting ideas or all the information or all the new points or all that we have to share regarding the topic that we are talking about. So, depending upon the topic and the introduction, one can choose from any of the following patterns to organize the main body of the speech. Depending upon what your topic is, whether your topic is a new topic or whether your topic is discussion about something that is already going on, whether your topic is about a problem that is first hand discussed, or whether your topic is about something, a sequence of events or a number of stages of a process that has been seen over a period of time, or whether it is about a general idea about or information that you just want to share, you can choose any of the methods of organizing the main body of your speech. So we will discuss the four common methods that we have in hand, and you can choose any of them depending upon what your topic is. Firstly, we will start with the chronological. Chronological. By chronology, we mean based upon the time, a number of events or happenings that we tell on the basis of time, in relation to time, that what happened first, then second, starting from the earliest, that is the first event or the very initial happening, to the latest or the current or or where we are at present, is what we see in chronological method of organization. Here, as you can see, arrange sequentially in the order in which the events occurred or appeared before. I already told you that in terms of what happened first, then second, then after it, when we discuss in this manner, it is chronological. The entire presentation can be arranged chronologically. Chronology helps you to understand and to relate the things, that what is happening, like when you're discussing maybe generations of a computer, when was the first generation in market, what was the feature or what was the highlight of the first generation, Then when did the second generation come? What all you saw in the second generation? Then what was in the third generation? Then in the fourth, in the fifth, in the sixth, then the latest generation, what all benefits they had, what all negatives they had. Then chronology is very convenient. So it helps you to relate things, and one can have, a better memory of things when you discuss in chronological manner. This method is useful for topics like the changing phase of the earth. Like, how was the earth maybe 200 years ago? How much green cover, how much forest area the earth had maybe 200 years ago, then 100 years ago, then 50 years ago? What was the climate? What was the rainfall that we had? Then, what was the amount of pollution? The profile, your institute, college, and history of sports, etc. Profile of the institute, like how much was your college in terms of number of students 5 years back, how many courses were there in your college, how many floors, how many buildings were there in your college, how many students in the different branches, how they performed maybe 5 years back, maybe then 8 years back, then 3 years back, then 2 years back, and what is the current ranking of your college in the university at now. Then also history of sports, then what was the first sports that was introduced in India, then next sport, then how many sports are played, then how many people, sportsmen went abroad, went in the other countries, how many trophies the country has won. All this, like from the first World Cup to how many World Cups your country has won, or country is has come successfully by grabbing them till date, or how many captains have been successful in grabbing the World Cup. This all you can discuss in the chronological manner, right? Next we have the categorical. After the chronology comes the categorical, that is category based, that is group based or class based. This is one of the easiest and the most commonly adopted patterns for many topics. This is very easy when it comes like you are preparing notes for yourself. You can write the topics that are under the syllabus, then the subtopics, that is what inside the topic you have to study, then maybe what topic inside the subtopic that you have to study, and you can make a chart. I believe that you all, as being students, have also used this method many times, like how you are going to remember things. So when we draw category based, like in group A, in unit 1 I have to talk about 4 topics I have to study. Out of the 4 topics, maybe 2 topics have 2 methods and that I already know, and one topic has one method that I don't know, and you can point out and then you can understand it in a better way. The entire presentation can be divided into various topics and subtopics that I already shared. Like you can use a table or chart or diagrams, and categorical can be explained in a very convenient or very simple manner. It is arranged on the basis of subordinates and coordinates. So subordination and coordination, by this we mean using conjunctions and or, so connectives, what comes under what and what is equal to what. Like if you have maybe a department in your college, maybe a computer science department, and you have to explain like how many faculties are there, how many staff is involved in their personnel. So you can discuss in the way that first is the HOD, and then you have maybe 6 faculties, then you have maybe lab assistants that are TA, then you have students, how many classrooms for department, how many labs for CSI department. In this way you can discuss about the whole of computer science department in your college on a chart or on a sheet in a very simple manner, and a person or an outsider who doesn't know anything about it, he can get a very good idea about what everything is included in it. right? Third, we have the cause and the effect method. Okay, so this method can be used whenever there exists a cause and effect relationship, where there is something that you have, something that has happened, and what is the effect of it, like why did it happen, what was the reason. Then we use the cause and effect relationship. Like in Delhi we were having a lot of pollution. So why was the pollution caused? Was the pollution because of factories, or because of a number of vehicles, or because of maybe not application of the proper rules or proper guidelines by the government? And the effects, like how has the pollution caused damage to the air quality, to the water that they have in or they use in drinking, or maybe to the visibility, so everything, or to the rainfall that we will have. So everything comes under the effect, or the health problems that people are having, that will come under effect. And the cause, that what was the reason or why did this happen, this we will discuss under cause. So here one has to explain the causes of the situation and then focus on the effects. So when you will discuss the causes, then actually you can talk about the main root problem. You can go to the root problem, and after discussing the effects we can actually tell people that how they can prevent the causes so that the effects can be reduced. It is relevant for topics like impact of cinema on children, like how has the changing face of cinema, the changing what content you have in cinema, what types of movies are made nowadays, so how it has changed the children mentality, how the children feel nowadays, how they think nowadays, like how much they know, like maybe they are more into earlier into cartoon movies or into comic movies, but now they are into, you can say, a lot of action stuff and other material that is shown in the movies. Then you have internet, a boon or bane, like internet, what are the good points, what are the benefits, what are the facilities that we are getting from the internet availability, or what is the boon that, or what is the bane. Boon, that we can say, by boon we mean what are the advantages, and by bane we mean what are the disadvantages, what the negative effects, like people are becoming, addicts. They are using internet all the time, and then their sleep cycle is also getting disturbed. So all the negatives also we'll discuss. So the causes and the effects. Then what are the problems, like they are having problems in memory, and they are not able to focus, so they are becoming, technology slaves. So these are the effects that are common these days. The fourth method that we use for organizing the contents is the problem solution method. By the problem solution method, like we have a problem, maybe a computer programming problem, like you have to find out the palindrome of a number, right? Or you have to find out factorial of a number, suppose factorial of 5, and then the solution, like how you will use the C program to find the factorial of a number. So when in engineering we use, in your studies you must have seen problem and solution. Like in maths also you must have seen there is a integration problem, and then you solve the problem. In this, one can divide the presentation into two parts. So you can have your presentation into two main broad categories. In the first part, describe the cause and effect of the problem. So first, when coming to solution, you have to definitely tell, like how this problem happened, or what is the emergence of the problem. Like when you're discussing about maybe COVID-19, so people are trying to find a solution or a cure to the COVID-19, then we have to understand what is the cause of the problem. Cause may be that where it came from, and effect, that how it is spread, how it is happening. And once you know that how it is getting spread, how it is happening, and how this problem has become so great, so big, then you can actually search for solution. Like, primary solution that we have come with is maybe social distancing. Then also we are getting to the next level solutions, that are vaccines and medicines. Like, recently we have come across the plasma therapy. So what all solutions we can get to solve the problem. After the analysis, one moves on to the main objective of the presentation, to suggest a solution to the problem. So once you have understood the root cause or the origin of the problem, then we can move on to the solution. Now, it is very much helpful and effective way for problem solution, in a way like persuasive presentation. So if you want to convince people, like, this can be a better method or a better idea to solve something, like maybe you are having a project, you are working on it, and your Android phone is having a battery problem, maybe it is not getting charged, or maybe the battery life is very less, and you have developed maybe a new idea or a new application or a new method by which you can improve the battery of your system, of the mobile phone. Then you have to convince your team, and for the persuasive presentation, you first have to make them realize that you understand the cause, and then you're working on the solution to the problem. For topics like population explosion, this method can be used, like why this population is increasing so much, and how you can actually curb or reduce the numbers. Also, I discussed in reference to COVID-19, like how this COVID-19 started and from where it came, and how we can use different methods to solve this problem spread. The ideas or answers can be supported by providing examples, statistics, analog, or definition. Like, whenever you are actually giving solution, or whenever you are suggesting something, so it is very important that you back up your solution with data that has statistics, that is results from research, then analog definitions if you have read it somewhere, and relations that you can connect with, like this was something similar that happened and you used it, so this solution can also be used in this particular problem, right? So that was all about the 4 methods of organizing your content, as we discussed one by one. And then we will also share some tips for the main body, like how you can make your main body impressive. And a main body is actually the heart of your whole speech, so how you can make it the best. Avoid using too many points in the body of your speech. When you're talking about, so it is not very much considered a good idea that you talk about a very large number of points in your speech when you are going through the main body. Then use maximum focus to 4 to 5 points. Only 4 to 5 points you should talk about, not very long ideas you should come across. Summarize the points as you go along. You should also keep on giving summary what all we have discussed, so that the audience stay in the same page. Every main point in it is a unit of thought and is an essential part of the speech. Whatever you are including in your main body, because you have only 4 to 5 points ideally to be discussed, please make sure that all the points are important. Every point in this should be clearly stated independent of the other points. The clarity is very much important, and this is what discussed here. Then plan on how to link the points so as to move smoothly from one part of your presentation to the another, and make use of transitional expressions in it. So here we will discuss about how you can plan your presentation in a better manner, and how you can use transitions in our next video. That's all in this. Thank you.